The Texo 810 Pro, is it worth the price tag or is it overrated? That question and many more we're going to answer today in this video on the 3-month review of my industrial sewing machine. Just to give you a little backstory, the Texo 810 Pro is my first official industrial sewing machine. Up until this point, I've been hand stitching everything. So with my expectation explained, I can go over how this machine has worked for me over the last 3 months. For me, it was a major learning curve going from hand stitching all the way to a proper industrial sewing machine. The good news is that every single step of the way, there's tech support to help me out with every question I had. And I had a lot of questions, being that it was the first machine that I really had. I'm so grateful for Eric in the tech support. He's walked me through absolutely every question that I've had, and he did it with a really positive attitude. So let's go over some of my pros and cons with this machine and my experience over the last 3 months. The pros of this machine is it can get through leather. I'm a leathersmith, and I do boots, I do shoes, and I also do many other projects. For this machine, it works perfectly for shoe uppers and boot uppers. We'll get into the other stuff during the cons. Another pro is the build quality. This thing is built like a tank. I don't ever feel like I'm gonna have an issue where this is going to break down. And if it does break down, I have the confidence needed to make sure that I'll be able to fix it with the help of Texo directly. Another pro is the stitch quality. So far, I haven't had any issues with the stitch quality, and I love how the stitches turn out every single time. Speaking of stitches, there is a variety of stitch lengths that you can pick. Everything is right here on this knob, and you'll be able to pick the stitch length and keep it there and keep it stable for whatever project you're doing, so it's nice and consistent. Speaking of variety, there's also variety in the speed. Here underneath, you'll be able to set the speed that you would like to work at, as well as there is control through a servo by using your foot. So there's so much control in the speed. If you're new to sewing like I am, something that is super important, at least to me, is being able to sew very slow, and this machine offers that. Another pro that I really like is that you're able to wind your bobbin while you're actually sewing. You don't have to rethread everything in order to fill your bobbin. With this particular machine, the bobbin is very large, so you're not having to refill it every 10 minutes. It really does last. Right, let's move on to the cons. The first con that I can think of is the pricing. It's expensive. There's no way around it. Texo did not send this out to me for free for this review. This is my machine. I paid for it, and I certainly did pay for it. It's a very expensive machine, but you gotta think of it as an investment. If this is the direction that you're taking your business, or you just have a huge interest in a post-bed sewing machine at the industrial level, this is it. It works really, really well. Okay, this could be a con that's specific to me, but when you're trying to sew thicker leather, it doesn't work as well. It works fantastic for doing shoe uppers, boot uppers, and more of a lightweight than, say, using it for doing belts or holsters or anything like that. This is not the machine for you. Absolutely not the machine for you. With that said, it's important to know what kind of machine you're getting for what kind of job. You're gonna hear it over and over again as you look into sewing machines that there's not one sewing machine that's a fit-all. Unfortunately, I was really hoping that this machine would be able to do everything that I needed for my business, but what it lacks in being able to do everything, it does what it needs to do, what it's advertised to do, which is important, and what I need it to do really, really well. I don't regret the job that it does. I love it for what it does. Another con that might be an issue for some people, not so much myself, My machine is out in my workshop. It's expected to be kind of noisy out here, but if this is a machine that you're gonna have in your home and you work off hours, it might disturb your family. If you're on, in an apartment, I don't see it being a big issue, but that really is up to you and how noise sensitive you are. For me, I don't notice it, but for some people it might actually be an issue. This last con is something that is specific to me and really has nothing to do with Texo. It really has nothing to do with the 810 Pro. It's that I wish it would take thicker thread and thicker needles. I wish that it was more of a universal machine for myself and for my business, that I would be able to use it on multi-layer projects. And unfortunately, it's just not built that way. Has nothing to do with the company, has nothing to do with the machine. It has everything to do with my needs. But with that said, it is something to consider if you're looking to buy this machine in hopes of being able to use it for multiple things. Know its limit, get it for what the limits are, and you'll be really happy with the machine because you'll have realistic expectations. My takeaway at the 3-month mark is that this sewing machine is perfect for who it's perfect for. I think if you understand the limitations and you get it for what it's good at rather than what you want it to be good at, you're gonna be super happy. Who I think it's good for is the beginner to intermediate shoemaker, whether that's dress shoes, boots, anything that requires you sewing shoe uppers. I think it's fantastic for that. Maybe once you get into more of a real industrial setting where you need to get through projects quickly, you might want to upgrade into a different thing. But for someone that is just going to be doing what I'm doing, which is making kind of more of the bespoke shoes, one-offs, stuff like that, and boots, I think it's fantastic for that. I think it's totally great for that. It is a professional sewing machine. If you get this sewing machine and you think that you're going to just plug it in and be an expert at using it with no prior experience in sewing, you got to be realistic with yourself and understand that that's just not how it works out. Just like anything that's worth it, you got to put the work into it and get to know it. The best part about that is that Texo's tech support and customer service is phenomenal. That alone and the way that they take care of their customers is what will make me personally a lifelong customers of theirs. I've dealt with multiple people there. I've dealt with Ron, I've dealt with Eric, and they're fantastic people. And that's important to me. I know that they're reliable if I need to reach out to them. Within just a really short time, I can have a video chat with Eric. He's gonna walk me through everything. Super patient with even the stupidest questions that I have. Just a great person. Would I buy this sewing machine at the price point that it is all over again? Absolutely, 100%. I think I would just change my expectations going into it. Again, not the fault of Texo, completely the fault of myself. The price point that it's at, I think it's totally fair, realistically. I think that it is a huge step from hand sewing to industrial sewing. And that's something that every person that is making that Jurassic of a jump needs to understand better than I understood it. I'm the type of person that thinks that I can do anything right out of the gate, and I'm often disappointed. But that, again, is a personal thing. Yeah, I hope that this machine fits your needs based off the information that I was able to share. If you made it to this far in the video, I just ask that maybe you take a peek at another video that I've made, subscribe, hand this off to a friend that might be in the market of picking up a sewing machine. Yeah, and I appreciate you guys. Until the next review, until the next tutorial, I appreciate you, and we'll see you next time.